You know that moment. You leave her place. The door closes softly behind you. You walk to your car, check your phone once, then twice, trying not to overthink it. And inside, she's standing in the kitchen for a second longer than usual. The room is quiet. Your laugh is gone. Your energy is gone. And for some reason, the whole space feels different now. And that's when the thoughts start. Why do some people leave and you barely notice, but one person can leave and their absence fills the whole room? Why did she pull away from that guy so fast, but still think about this one? What actually makes someone miss you? Is it looks, attention, distance, or something deeper? Here's the truth most people get completely wrong. A woman does not miss you most because you were always available. She misses you because of how she felt in your presence. Because when someone feels safe, seen, and emotionally at ease with you, your absence doesn't feel like space. It feels like a shift in gravity. And no, this is not about playing games. You're not failing because you don't know how to manipulate longing. This is not about becoming colder, harder, or more unavailable. It's about understanding what creates real emotional imprint in the first place. By the end of this video, you're going to understand the 7 things that actually make a woman miss you when you're gone. Not in a toxic way, not in a performative way, but in a way that creates real connection, real respect, and real pull. Let's get into it. Most people believe being missed is about creating scarcity, but the real truth is, being missed is about creating emotional significance. That's the part most couples never figure out. They think attraction lives in the chase, in the delay, in the mystery, in saying less, texting less, caring less. But the real reason someone carries you with them after you leave is much deeper than strategy. Your partner's nervous system is reading you before their mind can explain you. That matters more than most people realize. If being around you feels draining, confusing, performative, or emotionally unsafe, distance becomes relief. Even if she likes you, even if she wanted it to work, even if part of her still cares. But if being with you feels grounding, emotionally clean, warm, and real, then your absence lands differently. She doesn't just notice that you're gone, she feels the loss of what your presence gave her beneath the surface. And here's what nobody explains. In attachment terms, people don't long most intensely for whoever gave them the most attention. They long for the person who made them feel most deeply known without making them feel trapped. That balance is rare. Safety without control, desire without pressure, presence without neediness. Most couples miss this completely. They think if they try harder, text more, prove more, push more, they'll become unforgettable. But when the emotional tone is off, more effort just creates more weight. And when the emotional tone is right, even small moments start to matter in a huge way. So this video is not about tricks, not mind games, not fake detachment, not becoming emotionally unavailable and calling it masculine energy. It's about understanding the qualities that make your presence feel like peace, so that when you're gone, she feels the difference in a real way. 1. Presence she can still feel. Here's the part no one talks about. The first thing that makes a woman miss you is not how often you were around, it's how fully you were there when you were. Most couples confuse presence with proximity. Most people in relationships think being physically there should be enough, sitting next to her, replying to her, spending time together. But you can be in the room and still feel emotionally miles away. The deeper truth is this: a woman misses the emotional experience of being with you more than the calendar time she spent beside you. If your attention was fragmented, if your energy was half in and half out, if she always felt like she was competing with your phone, your stress, or your ego, then your absence won't feel like loss. It will feel familiar. But when your presence is real, calm eye contact, grounded listening, no performance, no rush, her nervous system registers, I can exhale here. That kind of presence lingers, like warmth left in a chair after someone stands up. The disconnecting version sounds like this. Yeah, I'm listening. Hold on, what did you say? The connecting version sounds like this. Wait, say that again. I want to actually hear this. That small shift changes everything, because when she feels your full attention, her brain is quietly registering, I matter when I'm with him. And when you do that, your absence doesn't just remove a person, it removes a feeling she doesn't get everywhere else. 2. Peace, not pressure. And this is the one most couples never figure out. A woman misses the man who brought peace into her life, not the man who constantly made her prove where she stood. Most couples think intensity creates attachment. They assume more questions, more check-ins, more emotional urgency means more connection. But pressure does not create closeness. Pressure creates monitoring. And being monitored is not the same thing as being loved. Here's the deeper emotional truth. When a woman feels like every interaction comes loaded with expectation, why didn't you text back faster? Why are you acting different? Do you even care? Her nervous system stops associating you with safety and starts associating you with work. Even if your intention is closeness, what she feels is weight. Not more chasing, not more proving, not more "where do I stand" conversations every other day, but a grounded kind of steadiness that says, I care about you, and I'm not here to corner you. That's rare, bro. And because it's rare, it stays with her. The disconnecting version sounds like, why are you being distant? Just tell me what this is. The connecting version sounds like, you seem off. If something's on your mind, I'm here. No pressure. Feel the difference. One creates contraction. The other creates room. When she doesn't feel emotionally pinned down by you, something in her starts saying, I don't have to defend myself around him. And that's the shift that turns your presence from a demand she manages into a refuge she misses. 3. A life that doesn't cling. This is where it gets really interesting. One of the biggest things that makes a woman miss you is when your life feels full, rooted, and real. Not because you're trying to impress her, but because you actually belong to yourself. Most couples get this backwards. Most people in relationships think being deeply interested in someone means collapsing their whole center of gravity into that person. More availability, more sacrifice, more orbiting. But when your whole emotional world starts hanging on her responses, she doesn't feel closer. She feels the pressure of becoming your oxygen. That is too much for anyone, even if she loves you. The deeper truth is that emotional attraction grows when she feels your presence, but also feels that you have substance beyond her. Purpose, standards, friendships, routines, self-respect. Not as a performance, not as some alpha script, but as evidence that you are a whole person, not a hungry one. A clingy presence feels like wet cement. A grounded presence feels like solid ground. The disconnecting version sounds like, honestly, I dropped everything this week for you. I don't get why you're being like this. The connecting version sounds like, I care about you a lot, and I'm still going to keep being who I am while we build this. Man, that lands differently. Because what she hears beneath the surface is, he wants connection, but he's not disappearing inside it. This isn't a trick for seeming valuable. This is what emotional maturity looks like when it becomes real. And when you live like that, she doesn't just miss your attention. She misses the calm strength of being with someone who knows how to stay connected without losing himself. 4. Emotional safety in the small moments. But here's what nobody explains. Women don't usually miss grand gestures the longest. They miss the tiny moments where they felt emotionally safe without having to ask for it. Most couples overlook the 30-second moments. They wait for anniversaries, date nights, deep talks, or dramatic declarations. But intimacy isn't built in the big moments. It's built in the tiny ones. The way you respond when she's overwhelmed, quiet, insecure, irritated, or not at her best. That's where the nervous system decides everything. Your nervous system in conflict is like a smoke detector. It cannot tell the difference between emotional threat and actual danger. So if your tone sharpens, your face hardens, or your energy turns cold, the alarm goes off. And once that happens enough times, her body starts bracing before her mind even knows why. Most people in relationships don't mean to do this, but they become hardest to be around in the exact moments their partner most needs softness. The disconnecting version sounds like, you're overthinking again. It's not that serious. The connecting version sounds like, hey, I can see this hit something deeper. I'm with you. One response makes her feel corrected. The other makes her feel held. And when she experiences enough of those small, safe moments, her inner voice starts saying, I don't have to hide the messy parts of me here. And when you do that, the walls between you start to come down, without either of you having to say a word. 5. She felt seen, not managed. Here's the part that changes everything. A woman misses you deeply when she felt understood by you, not just handled by you. Most couples slip into management mode. One partner brings emotion, the other tries to fix it, minimize it, solve it, explain it away, or rush it to a conclusion. It looks helpful on the surface, but beneath the surface, it often feels like emotional abandonment in a more polite outfit. Because being managed is not the same as being met. Not advice, not solutions, not let's be rational, but the rare experience of someone actually staying close enough to understand what the feeling means. That's what creates imprint. That's what lasts after you leave. The disconnecting version sounds like, okay, so what do you want me to do about it? The connecting version sounds like, do you want help with this, or do you want me to just stay here with you for a minute? That question is powerful because it tells her you're not trying to escape her emotion, you're trying to understand her relationship to it. And here's the internal shift she feels. He's not trying to control the moment, he's trying to know me inside it. That's when your partner stops feeling like a problem to solve and starts feeling like a person you know how to come home to. 6. Consistency she could relax into. And this is where most people lose the plot. A woman does not miss unpredictability nearly as much as people online pretend she does. She misses consistency that felt emotionally alive. Most couples think mystery is what keeps attraction alive, so they become inconsistent. Hot one day, cold the next. Deep when they're in the mood, distant when they're stressed. Present when things are easy, withdrawn when things get real. That may create anxiety. It may create obsession, but anxiety is not the same thing as healthy longing. Let's say that clearly. Not confusion, not mixed signals, not emotional whiplash, but steadiness with depth. That's what stays in someone's system, because consistency tells her she can relax. And when a woman can relax with you, her real self comes out. Her humor, her softness, her affection, her truth. The more emotionally available you are in a steady way, the more your absence feels like the loss of a stable emotional place. The disconnecting version sounds like, I've just been busy, don't make it a thing. The connecting version sounds like, I've had a lot on my plate, but I don't want you guessing where I'm at. I'm here, and I'll talk to you tonight. That is different. That is clean. Most people in relationships underestimate how attractive emotional reliability is. But when she's with someone whose words and energy actually match, something in her says, I can stop bracing now. And that's the shift that turns connection from a gamble into something real enough to miss. 7. You left her with dignity, not damage. This is the final one, and honestly, it may be the most important of all. A woman misses you more when your absence is clean. Not because you vanished, not because you punished her, not because you made her chase what you withdrew, but because even when there was distance, tension, or an ending, you did not leave chaos in your wake. Most couples don't realize how much the ending tone shapes the emotional memory. If every disagreement ends with shutdown, blame, cheap shots, guilt, or emotional retaliation, then distance feels like recovery. Even if love was there, even if chemistry was there. But when you know how to leave a conversation, a season, or even a relationship without cruelty, that creates something rare, respect that survives separation. That matters more than ego ever will. Scar tissue forms slowly in relationships, not just from what was said, but from what never got repaired. So if your absence follows damage, she won't miss you cleanly. She'll miss you through confusion, hurt, and self-protection. But if your absence follows honesty, care, and dignity, then longing can exist without defense. The disconnecting version sounds like, whatever, do what you want, I'm done. The connecting version sounds like, I'm upset and I need space, but I don't want to leave this in a way that hurts us more. Bro, that is strength, real strength. Because what moves through her in that moment is, even when he's hurt, he doesn't become unsafe. And when you do that, your absence doesn't feel like emotional fallout. It feels like the quiet ache of someone whose presence had weight, warmth, and character. So if you really want to understand what makes a woman miss you when you're gone, it's not about becoming harder to reach. It's about becoming harder to replace. And not because you were louder, flashier, smoother, or more strategic, but because being with you felt emotionally different. This isn't a checklist, it's an identity shift. You're becoming the kind of man whose presence creates connection, safety, and peace. The kind of man who doesn't need games to create desire because he knows how to create something much rarer, emotional reality. And when you internalize that, you stop trying to be missed and start becoming unforgettable in the ways that actually matter. Because here's the truth, man. Women don't deeply miss the man who demanded their attention. They miss the man who made them feel more like themselves when he was there. Real longing begins when your presence feels like home.